Welcome to this week's podcast episode, and this week we are talking about being motivated when you don't feel motivated in your fitness business. So there's a lot of things that overlap in terms of the things that we're saying to our clients about being fit and being healthy and how we run our fitness businesses as well. And motivation is definitely one of them. And I think motivation obviously crosses over to any goals that we have, anything that we want to achieve. It always comes down to actually we're not going to have the motivation all the time, and we have to find the self-discipline. So it's exactly like you would say to your clients, if they're telling you that they're not motivated to work out, they're not motivated to eat healthy. If you take that advice that you would give them and start to implement it in your own life and in your own business, then that's all basically you really need to do. A lot of the time, motivation overlaps from every different area of our lives where we're not feeling motivated. And it always comes down to a few really key things which we'll cover in this podcast today. So I want you to think about the times when you are really unmotivated, when maybe you're struggling, you're going through maybe a patch in your fitness business where maybe income is low, or you're just really struggling to get everything that you need done, and you're just not motivated to put the time in, to put the effort in to make things happen. So when you're feeling like that, the first thing that you need to do is reconnect with your why. And again, I always say this to clients and in terms of their fitness journey and why they started that fitness journey or why they want to get healthy. It's one thing I personally do in my business and in my fitness journey as well. Always go back to why I started, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I want what I want, and really get really specific, really clear, and really deep with those whys. So it's not just things like I just want to make more money, or I just want to have more time to myself, or I just want to have more flexibility in my life, which is why I created my fitness business. But it's all those things create for us. So more income. What do we want to do with that extra income? Why do we have our own business so we can make more income? Why do we have our own business? To create more time flexibility. What are we going to do with the extra time that flexibility and that freedom from having our own fitness business creates? And actually, where are we not implementing that in our lives as well? So if you want more time in your fitness business, are you always adding things into your fitness business instead of concentrating and making a few key things a priority, really get them going, though whatever it is, those classes or the online aspect, really focus your time and energy on getting those things to work so you do create more time. And I fall into this trap so often. I wanted to create a fitness business so I have more time, more freedom, and more income. Yet a lot of the time I'll be thinking or subconsciously creating new things to try and achieve those things, when actually I just need to focus on what I've already got, the classes that I'm already teaching, the online services that I already have, and really make the most of promoting those, making those work, gaining more income from those, instead of starting and creating lots of new things to then launch and actually filling up all the time that I want to create in terms of time freedom. So the first thing that I want you to do, and you can even pause this episode and actually do it right now, is get really clear. And it's one of the things that I do in my 6-week to create, build and launch online course. It's one of the very first things we do in there. And it's also the very first thing that I do with my mentorship clients as well, is that literally the first module, the first thing that we do is get really clear on what those whys are. Why do we have a business? Why do we want to create a successful business? Why do we want to have more income? What are we going to be doing with that income? What do we want our lives to look like? or what did we think our lives would look like by having our own fitness business. And I want you to get really clear and really specific on those things. How many hours do you want to work a week? How much income do you need to make to be able to afford that luxury of just working a select few hours? Really get clear and specific as to why you want your fitness business to succeed, or why you created a fitness business in the first place. And you can really connect your emotions to it as well. So again, if it is something like you just want more time freedom, what is that time going to be used for? Is it time spent with your family, with your children, with going on holiday, traveling more? What does that look like for you? And really get quite specific and add your emotions to it, and really make these whys really, really deep. And write them down and keep coming back, keep rereading those whys. And if it helps, just write 10 things, 10 reasons why you want a fitness business to work. And every time you feel unmotivated, every time you feel like you can't be bothered to do this task or that task, or you just need a little bit of motivation, you're going to read those 10 reasons why you started, why you're doing this, why you're building the fitness business that you want to build. And if those reasons why are deep enough, and those reasons why are strong enough, then that they are motivation in itself to get started again, to get going, to do the thing that you don't want to do, to just keep going in your fitness business. And if those reasons aren't really, really strong, then sometimes that's our cue. Do we really want this? Whatever we are building in our fitness business, is it in alignment? And if we haven't got a really strong why as to why we are building it, then do we actually want a fitness business? Is it something that we can let go of? Is it causing us more energy and time and worry than it's worth? So you really need to get clear on those outcomes, on those whys, and that is going to be hopefully motivation enough to keep you going on those days where you're really not motivated to keep going in your fitness business. So that's the first thing I want you to do. And again, pause the podcast episode, do that now. Really get motivated, really think deeply, really connect your emotions, and write down those 10 reasons why. And don't stop until you get to 10, because the more reasons you have behind what you are doing, then the more motivated you are going to feel, the more motivated you are going to be. So that's number one. And sometimes you just have those days where you are unmotivated because you are tired, you lack energy, you are struggling with maybe exhaustion and burnout. Maybe, again, you're in that transition between teaching a lot of classes and maybe building online, or maybe you're still working full-time while you're building a fitness business. So there might be lots of things overlapping into your fitness business that are causing you to feel energetically zapped and exhausted and burnt out. And that in itself is just contributing to the reason why you're not feeling motivated. So the next thing that I want you to do is really schedule some time out. Sometimes we're not motivated because we haven't given ourselves the rest, the time away, the headspace out of our fitness business so we can reset, we can get clear, we can, take that time bringing ourselves out. Sometimes when we're running a business, we can just be in it all the time, even when we feel like we're resting or we're watching Netflix or we're taking some time out. Sometimes our mind just keeps going on and is always in the next thing that's coming up in our fitness business or the next thing that we have to do. So the next thing is to actually schedule that rest time. And once you've had that maybe day or that week or that time out of your fitness business, sometimes it can just be a couple of hours to do something completely different, and you come back feeling refreshed and more motivated. But once you've given yourself that time and you come back motivated, I really want you to schedule your you time, your rest time for the week and for the month. because it's really easy to think, oh, I'm really motivated, I'm just going to keep going while I'm motivated. But then again, we get to that place where we're burnt out, we're unmotivated, we don't want to keep going. So having the time scheduled where we know we can specifically take that time out and away from our fitness business, it's going to give you more energy and more motivation when you come back to your fitness business. So even if it's just something daily, or if it's something weekly or monthly. So for me, I always try and make time for meditation every single day, because I know that is time, focused time away from being in and thinking about my fitness business and everything that I have to do in my fitness business. So that's a daily kind of rest time out of my head, out of my fitness business, out of thinking, and out of obviously physically teaching and doing physical things for my fitness business. So I'll try and do that every morning and every evening. And then every week, I try and have at least one full day where I'm completely switched off from my fitness business. And sometimes it's like a full weekend, but if you can just commit to one day without, again, sometimes for me it's Sunday. I try and have Sunday completely off and out of my fitness business, but I know there are some Sundays where I'll just prep this for the week, or I just do this, or I just do that, and it turns into a couple of hours, or I'm still thinking. There's still an aspect of that day where I'm still in my fitness business head. So again, I try and use that whole day to completely switch off, to not even think, not even look, not even go into my fitness business or what I need to do for the next week. Literally just take a full day off. And usually that means coming away from social media, having a full day to switch off from kind of technology, and just completely take myself out on that day. And again, sometimes that's a whole weekend, but most of the time I like to do little bits every single day except Sunday, and have Sunday as my reset day. So that also gives me motivation in the week, because I also think, well, I don't want to be doing that on Sunday, on my rest day, on my day off. So I'm just going to get it done now. And I'm just going to, whatever I need to do, I'm going to get it done now, so it's ready for next week and I don't have to do it on Sunday. So it gives you that motivation when you know you've got rest time coming up, when you know you've got specific hours or specific days or specific weeks where you know you're taking it completely out and away from your fitness business, then it motivates you to get things done outside of those times. So it's hugely important to have that. So rest and scheduling rest, again, I don't just mean not switching your mind off from your fitness business. I mean a full day of completely taking yourself out of your fitness business, not even thinking about it. Really schedule that time in, because that is gonna mean you're more motivated most of the time, rather than burnt out a lot of the time and not motivated the majority of the time. So that's huge. So we've got our 10 reasons why. So again, if you're feeling unmotivated, save those somewhere where you can look at those, where you can read those often. Read them daily if you can, every single morning, every single evening. Really connect with those reasons why you are doing what you're doing, why you are running your fitness business. And then it's scheduling that rest, whether it's just that you need a week off, or whether you need to actually schedule weekly, daily times where you're not thinking about, not working in your fitness business. And then the final thing that you can do is really reevaluate your fitness business, because you might be unmotivated because, again, you're not aligned with what you're doing, what you're teaching, what you're promoting, what you're creating. And a lot of the time I find that I'm most unmotivated when I'm just doing all the things because I feel like I should do them, instead of really aligning with why I'm doing them, with the outcome that they're going to create. So firstly, in my fitness business, like a few years ago when I was just teaching, it was certain classes that I was teaching that were literally just zapping my energy. I wasn't motivated to teach them. So that overspilled into other areas of my fitness business and other classes that I was teaching, I just wasn't motivated to do any of it because of these few things that I had and these few days and times that I was teaching that just didn't work for me. They just didn't align with why I started a fitness business. I was just doing them because maybe they were popular at the time, because they were bringing in good money, or because everybody else in the fitness industry was doing it. But they didn't align with me. They didn't feel good for me. I didn't enjoy them at all. And that was zapping a lot of my motivation and overspilling into every area of my fitness business. So I really want you to take an inventory of what you are doing in your fitness business at the moment that, again, just doesn't feel good, doesn't feel aligned, you don't enjoy doing it, because let's face it, we created our fitness business to enjoy what we were doing and get paid well for it. So if you're not enjoying it, even if it's bringing an income, sometimes just letting things go, even if they're bringing in an income, can just create so much more space energetically for new things to come in, or so much more space energetically in terms of our headspace, our energy, our motivation. So sometimes it can be scary to let something go if it's bringing in an income and it's bringing in a good income. But if energetically it's just not for you, that is just going to create so much more relief and so much more space to feel inspired and motivated to do the things that you actually want to do. So take a real good look at what you are doing in your fitness business at the moment. Align that with your reasons why. Align that with any goals that you actually want to be doing in your fitness business, any classes you want to be teaching, any services that you want to be creating. Maybe it's that you're teaching so much, but actually your real end goal is going online and is creating something that you can promote and offer people over and over again without burning yourself out. And you really want to do that, and you're really motivated to do that, but you've got so many other things in your fitness business that aren't motivating, that aren't in alignment with what you want to do, and they're just, again, leaving you unmotivated, unenergized, and really stagnant in your fitness business. So take that inventory, write a list of all the things that you would rather not be doing. And it doesn't mean that you just get rid of them straight away, but it might mean that actually, let's take a break from them. Let's maybe get some classes covered for a week and just take a moment away from them. It may be that you need to change things up with those classes, where you need to do some new routines or some different things in those classes. It may be, again, that you put a plan in place so you have a deadline as to when you are stopping those services or those classes or those things in your fitness business that you're not motivated or aligned or energized to do. So it's not necessarily just writing a list and then just dropping all of it at once, but just knowing that you have a plan in place, knowing what those things are that you're not motivated or you're not aligned to do, can just free up your space and your time and your headspace to actually put something in place where you're going to be letting those things go eventually. And just being aware of them might actually just relieve some of that tension that you feel around them, knowing that you're aware that those things aren't aligned with your fitness business, and you're aware that eventually you're going to let them go. Sometimes that can just bring in extra motivation, extra energy for other things to come along in your fitness business. But we need to be aware first. So again, look at your schedule, look where your time and your energy is going, and just write a list of everything in your fitness business that doesn't serve you anymore, that you're not motivated, you're not inspired, you're not excited about anymore. And then maybe write a list of new things that you want to implement and go for and add into your fitness business. And start putting plans in place to let go of what no longer serves you, and plans in place to actually go for what you want and what you desire in your fitness business. So hopefully that's helped. And hopefully you've already started to do those things as I've been talking, or you've been pausing the podcast and actually doing them there and then. If you haven't, I want you to do these 3 things immediately immediately after listening to this podcast. So I want you to, write those 10 reasons why you decided to start your fitness business and why you are doing this for yourself and for your life. And reread those every single day, every single evening. Really get the emotion behind them and get clear and specific about those reasons why. Then 2, you're going to take some rest, a day, an hour, a complete rest away from your fitness business, and you're going to schedule regular rest, regular days or hours away, completely away from your fitness business, where you're not even going to be tempted to just do this small thing or just do that or just take that on. It's sacred time away from your fitness business, because that's going to help you to come back more refreshed and more motivated. And then finally, do an inventory of everything you've got going on in your fitness business. Write a list of what doesn't serve you, what doesn't motivate you, what doesn't inspire you anymore. And write a list of everything that you want to do, everything you does motivate you, everything you feel excited about every time you think about maybe trying that in your fitness business. And then once you've done those lists of everything you don't like in your fitness business at the moment, everything you want to do in your fitness business, you're going to create plans to start letting things go that no longer serve you, that no longer motivate you, that no longer excite you in your fitness business, and actually start putting plans in place to move forwards towards what does excite you and what you do want in your fitness business. So hopefully that's helped, hopefully that's inspired you, hopefully that's sparked some motivation, and hopefully those 3 things are going to be tools that you come back to every time that you are unmotivated in your fitness business. So that's it for today. Please reach out if you have any questions or if any of these things have helped you get motivated in your fitness business. I'd love to hear from people. So please reach out. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in the podcast episodes, or if anything has helped you in your fitness business from the podcast and from the tools and things that I'm sharing. You can find all relevant links in the show notes, all links to my website, to information about the mentorship and courses and the members club if you want more help building your fitness business.